Almost. 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 There we are.
Well done.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of The Right Swipe. I'm Briannah.
I'm determined to get it right this week. I always go this way. I'm going this way. The right swipe.
Oh, The Right Swipe.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it.
High five.
Nice.
You got it.
5 up. Welcome to Right Swipe. Today we are talking about how to get what you want, but not like a car.
No.
Like sexually.
Two chicks at the same time, man.
Sexually, or you know what, like in terms of a relationship with the person that you're in.
Okay, so we're talking about in terms of a relationship, but are we really talking about sexually more, or are we talking about like...
Well, I guess it all depends on what kind of problem you have.
Well, that's what I'm bringing
Right?
to this. That's the gun I'm bringing to this fight.
All right.
How to get what you want sexually. If you got some other bullets in there, you fire those.
Okay, cool.
Cool?
Yeah, cool.
All right. So we're going to start off. There's a funny quote that I read. He wrote, "Sex isn't the answer. Sex is the question. Yes is the answer." To the question. Is that-
In most cases.
In most cases, but the problem is, it happens a lot where you want, here we are doing the episode, you might want something that you're not really able to either ask for properly, or maybe you ask and you just don't get it.
And so I did a little bit of research. I was on Psychology Today, and it's not necessarily about what you ask. It's actually about how you ask. So the number one thing that they said, so practice unilateral disarmament, which means this works best in heated arguments. And you have to remind them that, you know what, our relationship is a lot more important than, the frustration that I'm feeling.
So you just make clear that the priority is your relationship.
And not the actual...
not the thing you're asking for.
Exactly. Okay.
That's cool. That's very useful.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So that's...
But I think there's a double trick to that.
Of course.
The double trick being, make sure that that's clear, but underneath that, actually make sure in your own head, you value the relationship more than the thing you're asking.
Oh, true. You have to value it, before...
selfish in the moment. Disarm yourself first.
Disarm yourself first.
Cut the red wire. Always the red wire, right?
Yeah, the red wire.
Okay, got it.
Are you sure it's not the green one? What if you're color? Number 2, they said to stay vulnerable.
Stay what?
Vulnerable.
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 People are watching this with a rewind button, and I swear you said vulnerable.
I said vulnerable. Number 2, they said to stay vulnerable.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, man. But I will say this. I told you so, man.
Okay, so remain vulnerable.
Okay.
Do not ever speak in an entitled manner. Also,
Totally.
so avoid using words like I deserve. Because you never want your partner to feel, or you never want to act like your partner owes you something. Because at the end of the day, they just don't.
I mean, they owe you open-mindedness to what you want.
Exactly.
They don't owe you the thing.
They also said don't play the victim. Never. It's just never attractive to just be, the victim. Also, avoid using you statements. So you did this, or you made me feel like shit.
Generally, I think the idea is avoid criticism and make it more about
A learning
help.
experience.
Yeah. What I love is if you would
Do this.
do this thing, do that thing, tickle the other thing with that can of stuff over there.
That can of worms.
Yeah.
All right.
Worms. I guess everyone's entitled to their
They
thing.
want, exactly. The final tip that they had for us was to be compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in your partner's shoes, because you never know. Maybe what you're asking for might put them in a bad position.
The be compassionate one, I cannot underscore enough, because it comes up, this ain't our first rodeo. We've done a few of these episodes, and it's no matter what we're talking about, if it's about first dates, or if it's about talking about sexual history, or talking about today, what to get what you want, it always comes back to be compassionate and understanding and curious about the other person.
Yeah.
So that just works. I actually have a few recommendations that I did some research on as well, and I think a few of them are a bit more logistical, tactical.
Okay.
Let's say specifically, you want to keep language as open-ended as possible. The idea is to sort of work broad, like reverse pyramid, and then bring it down. So you would say, I love things with your tongue.
Yeah.
So let's start there. And then you start saying, you can be more tactical, and you say specifically when you flick this part after doing, and now you've sort of opened up this broader idea of what you like, and there's it's easy to buy in at that level, and then you get buy-in.
You have to give them the map before you give them the coordinates.
Say so.
Right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Now, there was some other neat stuff that I thought was pretty cool. The idea of starting the conversation with reference material. So again, let's say you want to try some freaky deaky bondage.
Okay.
Let's say. And you're worried that, your partner may be judgmental towards it or maybe uncomfortable, but you can see how they could get there. But nonetheless, it's something that you'd like.
Yeah.
Megan Fleming, a PhD, recommended that you might send her like a bondage
Just like an
video
article.
and an email.
Okay.
And say, look at this, like how crazy does that look?
So it's like dipping your toes in the water before you're...
Yeah, exactly. And so it
Jumping
just
in.
like opens their mind to it. And you've sort of done, all you've done is like sort of sent this.
Yeah, so if they freak out, you can actually just like backtrack a little bit. and be
Correct,
like,
exactly. And if they don't freak out, then maybe you can make a joke about it. And then you can say, it's crazy, but maybe that could be fun, And you begin the conversation very lightly, very delicately. She also talks about, letting your hands show the way more than your mouth.
Okay.
And so when you're
Interesting.
actually in the hay and doing your thing, if there's something you like, you're welcome to sort of take her hand and guide it towards what feels good. And likely at that time, there's a lot of brain chemicals going on. At that point, it's a lot easier to introduce something that you might like sexually than like when you both come home from the office, put your books down or whatever it is and just blurt it out.
Or have a PowerPoint presentation.
Have a
ready.
PowerPoint slide presentation. At that
Welcome
point,
home, honey.
you're really, if you'd be a dear and push forward to slide 3, thank you very much. So we're talking about the capital cost requirement of sexual gratification. And then the last one, but like the mother load, the humdinger of getting what you want from many guys' perspectives is anal sex.
If you save the world, we can do it in the asshole.
I'll be right back.
That's something you got to work towards, and you have to delicately broach, and you have to sort of bring into
Quite literally,
literally, exactly. And so the recommendation is to work kind of like we were talking about with the hand. Work up to things physically.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't clear home before you round first.
Well, I think that's like the outfield. I'm not sure what anal is.
To some that might be the home run. Like you might want to just sort of play with that area a little bit.
Yeah.
Softly, and then sort of leave it there, and then the next.
Or
time,
they might even bring it up.
They might even bring
it up. They're like, hey, I noticed that you tried XYZ out in the derriere.
Do you want to just hit that shit?
Do you want to just fucking do it?
Yeah, you want to jump in?
Or I kind of like when you did that. Or like, yeah, you know what? Like kind of stay away
Correct.
from it.
And then in the moment, there's going to be a lot of body language.
Of course.
One way or the other.
Of course.
So the idea is just to sort of build up to it, build up a little bit slowly. That is a perfect segue to a game that I would like to play with you.
With me?
With you, yes. Oftentimes when we play games, we're sort of both, we're playing it on each other.
Okay.
This one is straight me to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick your brain, okay?
Pick my
So
brain.
we're gonna play a sort of an equivalent of Family Feud, but with sexual geography.
Cool.
Some of them are pretty obvious, but a lot of them I always thought were quite revealing.
Okay.
So by the sort of arousal that people feel, I love it when you touch my this.
Blank.
Right. So what percentage of people say, I love it when you touch my this, that, the other thing? No, let's play it Family Feud style. You have to say, is so-and-so on the board?
Okay.
So what would be, for women, this is for women, what do women find the most arousing body part? And the vajay is not, we're not
just
counting
doesn't
that.
count.
Yeah, we're not counting that, because that's the obvious answer.
I would say the number one for me.
No, you have to put yourself into the mind. This is like
Okay,
all
so
women
all
answering.
Okay, all women. I think
Yeah,
maybe.
because the elbow is like that's your deal.
What about like inner thigh?
Inner thigh. Do we see inner thigh on the board? Not on the board.
What?
Not on the board.
I'm
I mean,
very
I could
surprised.
give you. No, I'm not going to give it to you. No, you have to move on. Not on the board.
Okay. My second guess is gonna be her neck,
Do I see neck on the board?
like the nape of the neck.
There it is. Neck being the second most arousing erogenous zone with 28% of women. What else do we have? I think that's pretty obvious.
I don't know, the breasts.
Do we see breasts? Number one answer, 34%. Nipples, specifically.
Okay, the nips.
Yeah, the
Oh,
nipples.
nips. Okay.
The nipples. Okay, and going down, what do you think the next one is?
I don't know, like feet.
Feet Feet is good. It's not on the list, but that's a good one. But that's
more fetishy.
less aroused. Yeah, it's a little. Well, first of all, it's for sure. If your fetish is number
Definitely.
one,
Yeah.
probably even more than your, than the sexual main sexual apparatus.
What about stomach? I guess waist, like the.
Stomach. There you go. 4% of women said stomach is their most arousing zone, and the other ones, we'll just fill it out. 15% of women said butt.
Okay.
It's true. That's a good one. It's a private part, right? It's a
bit more private.
It's somewhat private, right?
Yeah.
And then the last is back, 6%.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Just ahead of butt. Yeah, that's nice.
Of course.
That's nice.
We actually have a very interesting article. It was
On AskMen.
one of the top performing article of the week. One of them was actually about oral sex. What do women like? How appropriate? How appropriate?
I can't. So I mean, it's tough to visualize.
It
If
is.
I had some sort of something to be able to see it more clearly, maybe we could talk about it. Because right now it's very cerebral.
It's very cerebral.
Yeah.
I think.
What is? Oh my word! Look at this.
I think.
Look at this.
Is this what you're talking about when
This
you're talking?
is that now I can focus. Now
Okay.
I understand. So you've got the clitoris kind of down here somewhere.
Where's the clitoris?
Yeah, you have the
This is the
labia.
Christmas, or every girl has a
It's-
Christmas ornament,
It's
right?
it's actually a mistletoe.
It's the mistletoe.
It's actually a mistletoe.
And you kiss under the mistletoe.
You
appropriate.
maybe have to kiss the mistletoe a
Oh, you
little
even
bit
kiss
too.
the mistletoe.
I think you kiss. Yeah.
Okay,
There's
so
just
hold
a
on.
whole lot of kissing going on if you're doing it properly.
Okay, so talk me through. What are some? I don't think we'll go. There were, I think, 6 or 7
Different things that she likes.
things that they mentioned in this article. So
Yeah, so the first thing that they actually said in the article was, I like when he lets it be about me.
number 1, I like when he lets it be about me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So talk me through. That means that you have to A, initiate, and B, you have to really give your full attention to the woman during oral, by and sort of commit to doing that to orgasm.
Maybe not to orgasm, but until she sees fit, I guess.
Until she sees fit.
Because some women would actually prefer to climax during oral sex, while others will just use it as foreplay so that they can actually, climax during.
Right.
With their partner or without their partner.
Now this one I thought was pretty interesting. Number 3 was I like it when he stops in the middle of sex to go down on me.
That's interesting.
That's a big move. Okay, so Vicky here, 27, says, "Oh my God, the best kind of sex with my husband is when I'm riding him and suddenly he pushes me off and goes down on me until I climax."
And I think that which it's kind of cool because it incorporates the element of surprise and spicing things up. You don't want to have a dance routine every time you have sex.
No, it's not.
Okay, I know that we do this
Rehearsed.
first, and then we go to missionary, and then he does this. It's nice to kind of spice it up and shuffle
Turn
the cards.
cards.
Yeah, shuffle the cards once in a while. It's
Shuffle the
a lot of fun.
So we're gonna read it. I have not heard this, so I'm very excited.
So
to hear this.
I'll read it to you just to
Okay.
make things a little bit easier. So
Yes.
this guy Jordan.
fine.
So he goes, "Hey, what's up? I'm Jordan from Long Island. How about you?"
They're just meeting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he's-
I'm Jordan from Long Island.
Yeah, so he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Jordan from Long Island. How
Yeah.
about you? Love your pics. You think you can handle 10 inches? You're incredible."
You know what? It's crass. I take it back.
It's a little crass.
It's funny, but it's crass, and you don't. And it's clearly he's meeting this person for the first time.
Do you know what it's like? It's like someone fucking walking onto a subway train and pulling down their pants and being like, "Look at my dick." So she's a funny girl.
Yeah.
She goes, "Hey, Jordan." Quite the introduction. As someone who is 62 inches, 10 inches seems much too small for me to date. So I hope this doesn't come across as insensitive, but as someone so small, does your employment involve you doing some quirky job like flossing people's teeth, shrugging, and saying it's a living?
But is our friend of the friend this guy?
No, our friend is not Jordan.
Our friend's the girl.
Our friend's a fiery girl.
Okay, good. I was gonna
good.
freak it because he
I was
wouldn't
gonna-
be a
yeah.
friend of ours anymore.
We would excommunicate him.
Yeah, he'd be out. You're out.
He'd-
Out of the
yes.
circle. Out of the circle of trust.
No.
I would have attacked harder.
You would have fucking just cut his head off.
Head off.
Head
I wanna
off,
meet this
clean
guy.
off.
I want to meet this guy in a dark alley. Yeah, we're gonna grab Bully and a couple other AskMen dudes and head down to New York and see if we can.
We can find him?
Yeah, settle this
We'll
thing.
see.
Okay, well I think that brings us to the end of the episode. What do we know we're talking about next week?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to talk a bit about grooming trends and different, sexual trends to do with.
Oh, the sexual grooming trend.
Yes.
Yes. So sexual grooming, hygiene, trends,
To do with all our fun parts.
with your fun parts.
your
That's
fun
next
parts.
week. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do leave us some comments below, and we will be talking, I think, next week. We've been
Yes.
saying it for a while, but we're going to talk about comments from last week.
Yeah, this week.
This
well,
coming week. Exactly. Like this episode next week.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do leave us the comments. Check out other episodes. They're all on Facebook. They're on YouTube. They're on AskMen. Thank you so much, and we'll be talking about sexual grooming trends next week. Take care.